So if you've got one of the newer Pixel watches, you've probably tried that new AI hand gesture, right? You do the flick, you wait, and you get nothing, just silence. Yeah, it's super frustrating. But here's the thing, you're not doing it wrong. Today, we're going to break down exactly why it's so finicky and, more importantly, how you can actually make it work better. All right, let's get right into it.
I mean, does this sound familiar? You do the gesture, you wait, nothing. So you try it again, a little bigger this time, maybe a little more aggressive. Still nothing. You start to feel kind of silly, and you just end up saying, "Hey Google" out loud anyway. It's a really common problem, and it makes this cool futuristic feature feel, well, pretty useless.
And yeah, that whole experience of just giving up and using your voice, that's what pretty much everyone is doing. For right now, the classic Hey Google command is just way more reliable than the new hand gesture. So if that's been your go-to, trust me, you are definitely not alone. And there's a really specific reason why, and it's the key to this whole thing.
See, what's really going on here isn't just a simple bug or a bad sensor. The real reason this gesture is so hit or miss is because your watch is actually juggling two totally different assistants at the same time. Think about it like this. When you say the magic words, "Hey Google," you're waking up the classic old-school Google Assistant, the one we've all known for years. But when you do that wrist gesture, you're trying to summon the brand new cutting-edge Gemini AI assistant. And this, right here, is the most important thing to understand. They are not the same system. They're two completely separate engines running under the hood, and they listen for different things. One's a seasoned pro, and the other is, well, the new intern. So Gemini is the new kid on the block, and its ability to recognize that very specific flick of your wrist, that's a skill it's still learning. Google is literally tuning and improving the detection for it as we speak. So what we're all experiencing isn't really a bug. It's more like we're using a feature that's still in its infancy. Okay, so knowing that, let's look at a few of the technical reasons why that gesture might be failing you, because a couple of small tweaks in your settings can make a huge difference. So this table kind of lays out the main suspects. As you can see, the problem could be a bunch of different things. Maybe your sensitivity setting is too low, or you're not quite doing the motion right. It could even be something super simple, like the screen being off or your watch being in battery saver mode. The good news? Every single one of these has a pretty easy fix. All right, enough about the problem. Let's get to the solution. Here is a super clear 5-step checklist you can go through on your watch right now to make this gesture work way, way better. Okay, first, dive into your watch's settings and make sure Gemini is actually set as your default assistant. Step 2, find the gestures menu, make sure the AI gesture is switched on, and then, this is a big one, bump the sensitivity up to medium or even high. We'll get to step 3, the motion, in just a sec. And for 4 and 5, just get in the habit of waking the screen up first and make sure battery saver mode is off. Now let's talk about step 3, the actual motion. This quote is probably the best description I've seen. It's not a lazy wiggle. You want to do a slight raise with your wrist, pause for just a split second, and then do a quick, sharp flick forward and back. It really does feel like you're knocking on an invisible table right there in front of you. Try practicing it slowly a few times, then speed it up. So after you've gone through all that, what should you expect? Is it going to be perfect? Well, it's really important to remember what we're dealing with. This whole feature basically feels like it's in public beta, and that means we got to manage our expectations a little bit. Which, of course, brings us right back to the original question. After all these tweaks, which one is going to work when you just need to set a timer and you don't want to mess around? Is Hey Google still the champ? And the honest answer is, yeah. For now, it is. Look, following that checklist will absolutely make the gesture work more often. But when it comes to pure consistency, the voice trigger is still the most reliable tool you've got. Gemini is just still in training. And that's pretty much what everyone is saying. If you look online, the consensus is clear. The voice trigger is awesome, the gesture is hit or miss. It's just the shared experience of being an early adopter of this kind of new tech. So look, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. You are not doing anything wrong. Your watch isn't broken, and you're not bad at gestures. The feature is just really, really new. You're just at the starting line with it, that's all. And that leaves us with a pretty interesting question for the future, right? We're putting this incredibly powerful AI literally on our skin, on our wrists. And talking feels natural, but as these systems get smarter and better, will a simple, silent flick of the wrist one day feel just as intuitive as talking to our tech? Or maybe even more so? It's definitely something to think about.